Hey guys, Brittany from Atlas. Welcome to day 2 of week 2 of our stretching and posture class. I hope that you're feeling pretty good at this point. Remember that any of these movements you can use on the daily to help yourself feel better, to stretch out, to get some movement. And as we go along, you'll find kind of those little favorite ones, and then you can use them throughout your day just to feel better. All right, let's get straight into it. So we're gonna start with the same breathing we did on the first day. So let's go big deep breath in. We're gonna raise our arms in a big circle all the way up and look up. And then we're gonna exhale and bring your hands all the way down, making as big a circle as we can. Good, and inhale, arms wide, look up. Take a beat at the top. And arms down, exhale. Let's do one more. Arms wide, spread the fingers, look up. And exhale, arms wide, and come down. Good. Next we're gonna do seated cat-cow. So you may have done cat-cow before on the ground. We're gonna do a seated version. So what you're gonna do is sitting in the chair, hands on your knees, and you're basically gonna really focus on your upper spine, and you're gonna curl and drop your head down. And then you're going to push your chest forward, look up, and really arch your back. And you're just gonna go back and forth, and you wanna exhale on the curl, and then inhale on the arch, look up. Exhale, curl, drop your chin to your chest. And inhale, arch your back, look up. And exhale one more time, curl, drop your chin to your chest. And look up, inhale, arch your back. And relax. Good. Next thing we're gonna do is some neck range of motion. So we're gonna go from side to side. Now, a couple things about this motion is that just pulling on your neck like this is not really actually great for the neck muscles. They're holding our head up, so when we pull on them, they tend to respond with just more tension. So this is gonna be more of gentle movement to get loosening and healthy movement through the neck. We just tend to not really do this a whole lot. So it's something that we need to build into our day. So relaxing the shoulders, letting them kind of just be there. And you're just gonna go kind of ear to shoulder, just back and forth. You're gonna kind of just tick-tock your head. And you can just look wherever is comfortable. And there's kind of a point where you feel a little bit of a stretch, and you just kind of go to there and then come back. Again, just pushing through that. There's not like a moment where if you push, it releases. You just wanna kind of go back and forth. You shouldn't feel really pain, maybe just a little pull, and that's it. But you will notice that as you do it more, you tend to get less of that pull. You can go a little further. It's just one of those things that when we don't do it, we lose it. Good. Okay, then we're gonna start back over from the top. So standing up, we're gonna do big inhale, arms wide, look up. And exhale, spread the fingers, bring the arms down. And when you do this, you wanna, again, keep your arms even with your body. So inhale, big circle, look up. And exhale, bring the arms down. Let's do one more. Big inhale, arms up. And exhale, arms down. Good. Let's do the cat-cow in the chair. Hands on your knees, and you're gonna inhale and arch and look up. Press your chest forward, opening the front of the chest. And curl, exhale. Bring your chin to your chest. And inhale, chest forward. You really wanna press your chest forward like you're opening up the arch of your upper back. Look up. And exhale, curl, 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 curl. And inhale, push the chest up, chin up to the ceiling. And exhale, curl, curl, curl. Good, okay, let's do the neck range of motion again. So, relax shoulders, and we're just gonna tick-tock the head, just so you feel that little bit of tension. You'll notice if you use a mirror, that if you go too far, your shoulder kind of comes with you. So you know that you've gone a little bit past the tension point when you're doing that. Just tick-tock. You can kind of look up a little bit, see if that feels good. Look down a little bit, see if that feels good. Whatever feels like just a gentle stretch to you. Especially with the neck, we don't really like to pull and force motion, just gentle movement. Good, okay. So the next thing we're gonna do is to work on our postures, to open up kind of our lats, the back of the armpit. Lat goes kind of down into our low back. So sitting here, we're just gonna reach, kind of look under your arm, curling through your back, and then relax. And then we're gonna do the same thing this way. Reach, curl, look under your arm, and come back. I'm going to show you from the side kind of what this looks like. So I'm reaching 45 degrees, curling, look under. And then the other way, reach, curl, and look under. We're going to do a few more back and forth, reach, curl. You should feel a stretch from anywhere from the back of the shoulder all the way down to your low back. And again, the other way, you're kind of getting a little bit of that twist as you look underneath. Switch again. And one more time. This is another good one if you have just a mini break while you're at your desk, or in the car, that's a great one to do. Okay, and then to get our calves a little bit, we're gonna just do some ankle rocks. So toes up and then up on the toes. So toes up on the toes, back and forth. We're gonna progress these, so we're gonna end up doing some standing version. So what you can do is, if this feels pretty easy, is you can actually put a little weight forward. And so you're getting a little bit of a kind of calf raise, and just get the toes up a little bit. Doesn't have to be a ton of motion on that up part, but just getting a little weight into it. One more. Good, and relax. And we're just gonna go back and forth with these ones. So again, reach, look underneath, and come back. Reach, look underneath, and come back. Now this one, compared to the neck, you can push a little more into. You can feel a little bit more of a pull to stretch. These are a lot bigger muscles, and there's multiples of them. So pulling a little on them is not really that bad. And again, keep breathing normally. One more on each side. Good. And then we're gonna do the ankle rocks. So either putting a little weight or just relaxing and pulling the toes up, and then go up on the toes, back and forth. This is another good one if you have a break when you're sitting. Just do some quick motions. One more. Good. Okay. So now we're gonna move into our kind of bigger movements. We're gonna do some single leg balance. Now this is, again, you can use the chair or a wall to help you, or you can just do it on your own. We're gonna do 30 seconds of balance. So I would say, I'm gonna start with the easiest version, and as the 30 seconds go, I'll show you the harder versions. Okay, ready, and go. So using the chair, keeping the foot pretty low to the ground, that's the first level. Next is taking the hand off. You can do hands on hips, hand out, whatever works. And then to make it more difficult, you can bring the knee up. To make it more difficult, you can look side to side. Surprisingly hard. Good, and switch sides. So again, I'm gonna start with the lighter version. So hand is on something, foot is really close to the ground. It's there if you need it to tap down. Then you can take the hand off. Bring the knee up. And these are just options for you. You don't have to do every single one. And then you can kind of look back and forth if you want a little bit more challenge. Oh, keep going. And relax. Good. Next, we're going to do a chair assisted squat. So similar to kind of that sit to stand motion. Actually, it's exactly like that sit to stand motion. So you want to use the chair in front of you, or you can use a counter, a desk, a table, whatever you've got. But you want to pretend like we were doing that sit to stand from last class. So I'm keeping my feet nice and flat on the floor. My heels are down, my toes are down. I'm gonna pretend there's a chair behind me. I'm gonna reach to the middle or the back of that chair and then stand back up. And I want you to have this cue here, even if this doesn't feel difficult for you, because I want you to think about using this to kind of lean back a little bit. I'll really go ahead and keep doing reps as I'm talking. A really common thing is to just kind of bend through the knees. And so we want you to feel comfortable leaning back and putting your hips back a little bit. This is much more of a natural sit than this. And it's better to use our bigger muscles in our hips. A couple more. Good. Third thing in this round is going to be for your forearms. So you're going to put your hands kind of like this. I call this the genie shift. So hands are flat together, all 5 fingers, and you're just going to push back and forth. And what you'll feel is that if you push, you get a little bit of a pull through the wrist. Now again, this is kind of like the neck, where you don't want to push a ton. These are really small muscles. So you just want to feel a little tug and then come back. Now, if just sitting like this gets you a little bit tug, you can put your elbows down more and then find where the stretch is and come back up. This is really common in people who drive or work on computers all day. So either back and forth or up and down. A couple more. Good, okay. I'm gonna go back around to the top. So we're gonna do the balance, starting on either foot, whatever level works for you, and go. Making sure to breathe. I want you to stand up tall, eyes on the horizon, so you're looking up and forward, not looking down at the ground. We get enough looking down these days. Shoulders are back, good posture. Breathing, thinking about all four corners of your foot. Stay nice and flat. And switch sides. Thinking about big toe, little toe on your foot and your heel are all flat to the ground. That's going to keep you stable and keep you from kind of wobbling back and forth. Again, breathe, tall, eyes on the horizon. You can start to play with, can you take your hand off your helper? Can you bring the knee up a little higher? Breathe. And relax. Good. Next to those squats. So again, standing pretty close, using this to help you lean back a little bit. Now your feet can be a little bit wider than your hips and your toes can turn out a little bit. You don't necessarily want them way 45 degrees out, but you don't want them straight either. You want just a little turnout. It's like maybe 20 degrees, split the difference. And whatever width feels comfortable, wider is usually a little bit easier. And then closer together is a little more mobility needed from your hips. So hands here, and we're just gonna sit back, come back up. Again, think about it, if there's a chair behind you and you're trying to sit into the middle back of the chair. So you're not sitting on the very front edge, you're sitting way to the back. Keep going. It's okay to let your chest fall down a little bit. You notice I'm not worried about keeping my chest up a ton. I actually want my whole torso to move as one piece, and I'm really moving through the hips. Let's do two more. Good. Okay, and then let's do those forearms. So genie, we're either gonna go back and forth or up and down, if that's all you need. Back and forth. Getting a little stretch through the wrist and forearm. If this gets any numbness or tingling in your hands though, back off, because that means you're irritating the nerve a little bit. Good. All right, one more round of these. We're going to stand on one foot. All four corners are flat, standing up nice and tall, and balance. Think about those, the even weight between your toes and your heel. So you really want the weight kind of right in front of your ankle is the ideal place for it to be. That may not be where it is right now, but you can at least think about that as where you're headed. Breathe, tall, eyes on the horizon. If you need to be touching your toe down, not a problem. Use the balance help. And relax, switch sides. All four corners of the foot are flat and strong. You're rooting like a tree to the ground, standing up nice and tall, eyes on the horizon. Get tall through the top of your head. And breathe. And relax. Good. Okay, let's do one more set of those squats. So feet are hip width, maybe a little wider, whatever's comfortable. Toes are turned out just a little bit. Using the chair and sitting back. That imaginary chair, you're sitting in the back half of it. If this bothers your knees, exaggerate sitting back, and you may not sit as low. If this really doesn't feel comfortable, you can go back to doing the sit to stand that we did last time. Not a problem there. Make sure you stand up tall at the top, hips all the way through. One more. Good. Okay, and back to the forearms. So either here going back and forth, go ahead, or up and down, just getting a little stretch. If you find that your fingers are really curled, like this. Try to get them straight. Those are muscles that go into your forearm and attach all the way up your elbow. So you might feel discomfort all the way up when you try to get them straight. That's natural. It's just part of what we're working on. Good. Okay. Moving on. So you're going to use the back of your chair again, or counter, table, whatever you've got. So this is going to be a lateral shifting. So you actually want to get pretty wide with your feet. And all you're going to do is kind of shift your weight over one foot and then shift your weight to the other. I'm going to show you this way too. So feet, I would say at least wider than the chair, and then kind of shifting off to this side and shifting off to this side. And all you're doing is getting all of your weight over here and then all of your weight over here. Don't worry too much about how you get there, just shifting your weight. Not getting super low. We're just setting the groundwork for shifting side to side. You might feel a little stretch on those inner thighs. That's great. Good. Okay. And then this one you can do seated or standing, whatever's comfortable for you. We're going to call them T squeezes. So you're going to put your arms straight out like a T, and then you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together. So let's go ahead again. 2, 3, 4. You want to make sure that you're not arching your back as you do it. It's just the arms. You're just squeezing your shoulder blades and then relaxing them. Stand up nice and tall, tall through the top of the head, or sit up nice and tall. And relax. Good. Let's go back to shifting side to side. So feet, again, pretty wide. You can put them kind of turned out toes, but ideally they'd be straight forward or even turned in a little bit. That's going to force the motion up into your hip more. All right, let's go side to side. Just kind of shifting the weight. Again, just putting all your weight on this foot and then all your weight on this foot, back and forth. Okay. And then you're going to go back to T squeezes. So arms up tall, squeeze. 3, squeezing those shoulder blades. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. Okay, moving on to the last piece. You're going to put that chair out of the way. This is going to be star step outs. So you're going to step out, spread your arms nice and wide, nice and high, and then step back together, and then step out to the other side. All we're doing is opposite of sitting, opposite of slouching. So you're going stretch tall, step out to the side. Stretch tall, step out to the side. You've kind of a pattern going on here. Reaching our arms, spreading ourselves wide. Get the hands open too, jazz hands. Breathing normally. Good. Okay. Last thing is just to get some wrist flexion and extension. So all we're going to do is get some stretch this way. So you're stretching this hand and then stretch the other way. And again, this is just more motion. We're not going to hold. We're just going to go back and forth on one wrist and then the other. So just until I kind of feel a pull, and then I stop and go the other way, and then I feel a pull, stop, go the other way. There's this misconception about stretch needs to be painful, or that pushing more into a stretch will get you more. And really, there's a fine line between stretching and then it becomes more pain, and that sharpness. And then switch hands, go pushing extension, and then flexion, and just getting some gentle movement through there. Between computers and smartphones and driving and holding things, we just tend to use our hands a whole lot, and we don't get a lot of motion through here. Be really gentle. This is something we're going to work on through the whole series, so it will get better. Don't think you have to force it. Just back and forth. Good. Okay, we're going back to those step outs. So stepping out to the side, stretch big and tall, and back in. Taking up as much space as you can. Think about that. Step and breathing. Step. Good. 7, going for 10. Good. Okay, let's go back to wrists. So getting a gentle stretch and then go the other way. You can either do it this way or switching. Doesn't really matter. Just going back and forth. Find the stretch and come back. I know this seems really simple. We just went from a whole body movement to a small movement. But these muscles in your hand and arm really need just small, gentle things. You should be finding by now that you can go a lot further. You're not getting half as much stretch as you were. Go ahead and switch hands. It is normal to feel stretch, like I said, even all the way up to the elbow. But if you are getting any numbness or tingling, just back off and do less. Also trying to get all the fingers in. I didn't really say that before, but all of them, not just the 4 fingers. Get all of them together. This feels really good, actually. Last one. Good. Okay. So that's the end of day 2. Not too bad, right? So this week we were all standing or sitting in a chair. Next week we are going to be getting on the ground a little bit. So next week you want to have at least just a little bit of space. You just need enough for yourself to be like on hands and knees. Nothing too crazy. I would recommend a mat if you don't have carpet, just to make it more comfortable on your knees. So anything, a towel that you can fold a couple times, put on your knees or under your hands or whatever feels good. Besides that, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at bthornton@atlasergo.com or just reply to the email that had this workout link and email in it, and I can just answer any questions or concern you have. All right, guys, I'll see you next week.